It's time to join your host, Jean-Francois Gemme, founder of List Building Anonymous, the 12-step program for building a profitable online business, and the only podcast which delivers A to Z strategies from the online trenches and experts straight to you.
Hi, my name is Jean-Francois, and I'm a list builder. I want to welcome you to today's episode where we'll go over the step 9 of the 12 steps program for building a profitable online business. Today, we're having once again a very special guest. Kristiin has been a real estate business and life coach since 2001. She has taught thousands of people how to improve their lives, make money investing in real estate, grow their businesses, and be happy and balanced in all areas of their lives. She's a trainer and speaker who has coached and invested her own way through 25 years of raising 4 beautiful children. Her goal is that every time she teaches, each listener will take some nuggets away that will improve their business or life, because nothing makes her happier than to help others succeed. So it is with great honor that I give you Kristiin Sabey.
Thank you. I really appreciate that kind introduction.
Good. So today the step 9 is we mastered our own story selling. So the first thing I want to go over in that area is a quote that I learned back maybe about 8 or 9 years ago from Danny Johnson that we both know and learn a lot from, is fact tells and story sells. So I'd like to have your comments on that.
Absolutely. I noticed that people are getting excited for change. Nothing hits them deeper than some emotional hotspots. And when you give people a lot of facts, that's great for the information, the left side of their brain, but the right side of their brain hungers for the emotional part, the connection. And stories bring the connection to life for people. So that's why they're so powerful in every area of life, but especially in business and the sales process.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So in the story, the way we can share story, another thing I found that was really powerful is something we call open loops. And it's something that we can see in a lot of very successful movies. And the best example I can think of is Star Wars, but there's a lot of movies that use this concept. Is in fact, it's having more than one story at a time that you open, and at one or another point of high drama, you stop that first story and then you continue with another story. So with Star Wars, for example, any of the one that were made up to now, it's constantly like that. You have like 3 or 4 story at the time that goes on, and you're just you're shift from one to another, and so it keeps the attention very high. And when selling something online, it's a great way to keep the attention and of people is by going first with the backstory of a specific story, and then when you hit the high drama part of the story, you transition to tell another story that has high drama that can bring you to make a similar point for each of the story. And after you make that point, what happened and what made the change in the story, then you close all of the stories that you first open with how it is next. So I'd like to have maybe your thoughts about that concept.
Well, I had never heard it called that until actually you introduced me to that phrase, open loops. But I've experienced it my whole life. Like you say, the movie is a great example of how they suck us in with one story, and then we want to know more, and then they take us down a different storyline and get us excited about that. So we're always on the edge of our seat saying, well, what happened with that couple, or what happened with that piece of the story? And so the story leads us along, and ever since fairy tales, when I was a little girl, Disney even does open loops. Mm-hmm. So all of these great movies that we've watched, we're kind of trained that way. We're trained to pay attention to all the stories that are going on simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And in reality, that's what's happening in life. We're never stagnant. We don't one place, and then one thing happens, and after that's finished, then something else happens, and after that, we have multiple stories going on in our lives all the time with our kids, with our marriages, with an ex-husband or a girlfriend, at our jobs with our bosses. So our life is already set up that way with simultaneous stories going on all the time. And open loops are exciting, and they work very well to tell a big story. And like you say, a story within a story, many stories going on, and how they finish and the lessons they bring us and what they teach us is obviously the fun part of hearing the end of the story.
Yeah, exactly. Another important things that we can use our story for is to turn our mess into our message. So it gives the ability to start with maybe something bad or not pleasant that happens in the past, but gives the ability to share hope and give hope to people that listen to it. Because a lot of time people will maybe be in a rough spot. So seeing that you've been in a rough spot in the past and how you were able to overcome that and go to the next level will be a message of hope. So what would you have to say about that?
I would say amen. Absolutely. This is what we love, is a story of an underdog. I think that there are two different things I'd actually like to talk about here. The first is this idea of an underdog, like someone going through something very difficult. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, they all had these amazingly difficult things in their lives, yet they overcame it, and those things inspire us. And in our lives as humans, we've been taught a lot of guilt and shame that if something falls apart in our life, we make a mistake or something bad happens to us, that it's very traumatic. But the beautiful part, and what I'd like to really emphasize about that, is that in that mess, what you call the mess into the message is what gives us the opportunity to become stronger, to rise above, to become fantastic, because without opposition and trials in our life, we really would stay more, I would say, boring. Everything would just be too easy. But where we get our stories of inspiration and hope are through these difficult things, and then we push through and we rise above, and we're able in that to deliver a message, like you say, of hope to the next person who might be going through the same thing. So it's a beautiful way that we can learn ourselves, but also help pull others up, is to deliver our message that came through our trials and our mess, to give it to the next person, the next generation, our kids, our coworkers, anyone that needs to hear our message. And I think that alone is something that inspires me on days that are kind of hard in my world to keep going, because I remember that there's someone out there that needs my message, that's going through the same thing that I just went through or I'm currently going through. And this is how we help each other rise above.
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, also it's all these experience are occasion that we can learn. So it's important to be able to share the lesson that we learn over the course of these challenges. So yeah, that was great. It's time to wrap up. In this episode, we focused on our own story selling by seeing that facts tells and story sell. We also talk about the concept of open loops. And lastly, we saw how to turn our mess into our message. So this skill set is maybe advanced stuff, but anyone can implement it since we already have our story inside of us. So like anything else, it comes easier with practice. And again, another quote from Danny that I got a lot in my pocket, but repetition is the mother of all skills. So.
Amen.
So now for next week, we'll continue with step 10. We started to own email marketing, and we'll have yet another amazing guest. So you don't want to miss this. I'm going to send you an email with the name of that guest. So I want to extend a warm thank you to Kristiin for allowing us to pick her brain.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the show, and I love what you're doing to share all of this information with your circle of influence and the people that you interact with, and you're doing a fantastic job with your business. So I just wanted to say thank you for spreading that love around and sharing with those that you're able to share with, because your mess is truly a beautiful message.
Thanks for that. And I want to also thank anyone who's listening for tuning in, and look forward to lock arms with you and together master these steps. Until then, I wish you an amazing journey.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.